A very good evening, everyone. Myself Krishna Priya from Foundation for Excellence, and it gives me great pleasure to welcome you all to the 8th session of our technical series. Today's session is especially exciting as we move into the fascinating domain of UX design, a field that connects creativity, problem solving, and technology to create meaningful user experiences. We are really honored to have with us Ms. Jeena Philip, UX design specialist at SAP Labs India Pvt Limited, who will be taking us through the exciting world of user experience design. With over 5 years of professional experience, Gina brings a rare blend of creativity, systems thinking, and data driven problem solving to her work. A graduate of the National Institute of Design, she has built a strong foundation in information design, visual communication, and human centered approaches. At SAP, she plays a key role in supporting the automotive industry, designing intuitive dashboards, mapping user journeys, and simplifying complex processes for both customers and internal teams. What makes Gina's journey inspiring is her ability to transform complexity into clarity and challenges into opportunities for innovation. Today's session will give us a fresh perspective on how UX design drives meaningful experiences and sustainable solutions. So let us all extend a very warm welcome to Ms. Jeena Philip. Over to you, Jeena.
Hi everyone. Thank you for the warm welcome, Krishna Priya. Good evening, everyone. As she introduced me, I'm a UX designer working at SAP, and I completed my master's from NID Bangalore. I've been working in the industry for around 5 years now. So I guess without wasting much time, we can get started because we have just 1 hour and a lot of topics to discuss today. Yeah. Yep. Can you see my deck? Yeah.
Yeah, it's visible, Jeena.
Okay. So, yep. 1 second. Yeah. So what I have planned for you today is, a sneak peek into the world of design, because design is a huge topic and we only have like 1 hour to discuss everything, right? So by the end of this, I hope that you will get a sense of what UX design really means, why it matters to you. And I'm assuming most of the folks here are engineers. Am I right?
Yes, yeah, they are engineering students. Yeah.
Engineering students, right? So why it
Yes.
matters to you as engineers, and also on the off chance that some of you would want to pursue UX design in the future. Is there any question? I saw that someone raised a hand.
One second. You can continue, Jeena. If meanwhile they have any questions, we will ask them to unmute in.
All right. So what I have also planned for today is a little bit of an interactive session. I want you guys also to unmute and speak and answer certain questions so that we can have fun while learning something new. As a starter, maybe before I start telling you a lot of theory and before it becomes overwhelming, maybe you can, a few of you can unmute yourself and share an example of a product that you really, really love using, or maybe something that you hate using. This could be anything like a food delivery app or your college website or a ticket booking for IRCTC. It could be anything. And as you share, maybe you can also tell me why you love or hate it. Maybe is it because you hate it because it's too confusing and there are too complicated workflows, or you love it because it brings you a smile while you're working on it, right? Anyone?
So, Jeena, we're getting few answers in the chat box. Should I read it out for you?
Yeah.
All
Okay.
right. So most of them are saying Netflix. I love to use Netflix, Spotify,
Oh yeah.
GPay. I love Instagram and hate nothing.
Yeah.
I hate Amazon due to their opening interface so lagging.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I hate using IRCTC app because it works very slowly.
Same. Yeah. All right. I'm yep. Thank you so much for sharing those examples, right? And I think you have also kind of explained why UX matters. Now I want to talk to you about a concept called a Norman door, a classic book that you would read first when you're, in entering into the world of design is this book called Design of Everyday Things. And it's written by Don Norman, who's also called the father of UX, right? So a Norman door is basically any door that confuses you. If you've ever been in the situation where you're standing in front of a door and you don't know whether to push or pull, then it is a design failure. If you have to put up a sign telling push or pull, it's still a design failure because the door by itself in design is not telling you what to do. This also ties to this beautiful quote by Steve Krug. He also has written this book called Don't Make Me Think. But he says the first law of usability is don't make me think. If a user have to stop in front of a product and think on how to work with it or how to move forward, then we have already failed as a designer. This also comes to this initial concept of affordance. This is probably a new word to you, but what it means is the product itself should give a clue as to how to use it. Now imagine the door, and in that small image you see over there on the right hand side, the door has a small metal plate on it, right? Now the only action you can perform on such a door is to push it because there is nothing to hold and pull. And if you have a vertical handle placed on that door, it would mean you could hold it and pull it open. So by design, that door handle would explain how to open it, whether you have to pull or push. Now I want to come into something from psychology. It is called the Boba Kiki effect. It's a fun name. I want maybe again in the chat or either by unmuting, can you tell me whether which example you would call what? Example A and example B you have in front of you. Who is Boba and who is Kiki? Any answers? You can unmute yourself also and speak up.
Ashish, you can unmute and speak now.
Hello, I'm audible.
Yeah, good evening, Ashish.
Good. So I think first one is Kiki, second one is Boba.
Yeah, good answer, Ashish. Because see, most people would go for this answer, right? People would call example A Kiki and example B Boba. Why? Because our brain naturally associates certain sounds and certain shapes to, certain sounds to certain shapes. Kiki looks very sharp and pointy and harsh, right? And Boba looks soft and approachable. How this connects to UX design is also that when you're looking at a UI or an interface and you're seeing rounded corners, rounded buttons, it feels more approachable. And if you look at brand identities like logos, also, you will feel that more approachable designs use a certain color and rounder shapes, and then more stylish and more luxurious designs probably look for sharper corners and certain darker color themes, right? So visuals, typography, colors, everything has subconscious meanings. And this shows us that design is not just functional, it is very psychological. The way we look at things and feel changes how users interpret and trust products. Now coming to UX and UI, I don't know, put in the chat if you've heard of these words before. But I'll continue to explain that UX refers to the overall experience a customer or a user has when they're interacting with the product, service, or a system. A lot of people use the words user experience and user interface design. So UX stands for user experience design and UI stands for user interface design. They use these words interchangeably, but in fact, these are not the same thing. UI or user interface is only a subset of UX. And to simply put, UX is more about the feel and flow of a product, while UI is more about how the product looks. Now, something maybe you could relate to, right? Think of which chair you would rather sit on. On the left-hand side, you have the Iron Throne from Game of Thrones. It looks very dramatic, it looks powerful, and it is visually very striking. And that is the UI of it. It is the way it looks. But if you actually try to sit on this throne, it is sharp, uncomfortable, and honestly very dangerous. I don't know if anyone who has sat on it has even survived, right, in the show. That's terrible UX. The experience of using it is not good. Now compare it to the comfy recliner that Joey and Chandler is sitting on. It's not flashy. It's not, it's not like amazing looks, but the experience is amazing, obviously, from their expressions. It's soft, it has a holder for their beer, and it feels like home for them. And that is great UX. So UI is about how something looks, and UX is about how it feels when you use it. And the best designs balance both. It should also be appealing and it should be a delight to use. Why UX matters is, like I told you, right? Design is not about making something visually appealing. It's also about making it work. And successful designs always correlate to measurable business outcomes. And when I talk about measurable business outcomes, what I mean is you becoming a loyal customer. So let's say you use Swiggy. Now, even if Zomato is there in the market, if you are a loyal customer of Swiggy, if you always go to Swiggy to order your food, then it is a measurable business outcome. You have you have proved to be giving them a higher retention rate. Even if there is another competitor on the market, if you can pull their customers into your user base, then that is also a good success. A design is never done. All these products that you're using, right? Most of them are very concrete products, Swiggy, Instagram, Uber, but they still come up with new updates. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But why they do it is because they embrace continuous iteration. They look at the user data, look at what user is asking for next, and they give it in the new updates, right? Now, the cost of fixing an error after development is, or after putting it out in the market, is 100 times more than fixing it during the design phase, which is also why it is important that we do iterative design while we are working on a product. Now, I want to give you 2 examples of products that failed due to bad usability. The first one is Google Wave. I don't know if anyone has heard of Google Wave, but it was a web-based communication and collaboration tool. People say it was ahead of its time. But what it did was it was having a lot of features combined into one product. It was a little bit of email, it was a little bit of instant messaging, social media, all into one platform. But this product was withdrawn after 1 year. Why? Because of complexity and poor product positioning. It lacked a focus on who this product was, who was going to use this product. So it was not focused on, it didn't have a defined persona, and we'll come to these words later on. Now, on the right-hand side, I don't know if you guys are probably too young to have used this phone, Nokia phone, which had the Windows 8. But back in the days, I had this phone, and it was a very clear departure from its predecessors, this Windows 8 OS, right? People were used to a certain way of functioning, and Windows 8 came up by removing the menu feature and replacing it with these big tiles. And it also had a lot of gesture-based actions on it. Like you had to swipe the edge of a screen and do some actions and so on and so forth. This was a lot confusing to user, and people reacted to this product with a lot of negative reviews because it was not intuitive and it was very different from something that they were used to. So no matter how, and these are coming from Google and Microsoft, right? Huge tech giants out there. So no matter how good your technology is, if a product is confusing and hard to use, people will not use it. This will bring us to our second session. We'll get into a little bit of theory now. We'll start with Jacob Nielsen's 10 usability heuristics. By the way, if in between any of you have any questions, please feel free to unmute yourself and ask me the questions, because might also help me to see that none of you have not slept off in between the theory, right? Yeah. So yeah, for Jacob Nielsen, he is a usability expert, and these 10 usability heuristics are called heuristics. We are using this word heuristics because these are not hard and fast rules. These are just guidances on how to design good usable products. The first one is about visibility of system status. So basically, this is about a system should always keep the user informed about what's going on. A good example of this is when you are on your WhatsApp and you are typing, and your friend is typing on the other end, and you're seeing this text typing. And when you send this text, you see a double tick if it is delivered, you see a blue tick if it has been read. So you're always informed about what is happening on the other end. A bad example would be, let's say you are subscribing to a newsletter and you click on the button and nothing happens. You don't know if the subscription has happened. You don't know if you've received a mail or anything. Instead, if the next page after the button click, usually you're shown with an animation by telling, hey, you have successfully subscribed to a newsletter. That is a feedback. So you always need a little bit of a feedback to your action. Now, the second topic is match between system world and real world. A good example of this is, so when you're buying something on Myntra, you always say add to cart. And now this cart is a analogy of your shopping cart, the actual physical cart that you use in malls, right? Yeah. And a bad example for not having a match between a system and the real world is probably error messages that say error 404. What is 404? I don't know what 404 is, right? Now it has been like commonly used, so we know, but if it said SQL exception code 1425, a normal person using this would have no idea what it means. Instead, it could say, the page you're looking for is not available now, or instead it should say your internet connection is not good. That is more understandable, and it uses real world languages also. The third one is about user control and freedom. So users always, so to err is human, right? We should always assume that anybody who's working on a product is bound to make mistakes. And when they make mistakes, they should always have the option to get back to where they were, do an undo. And like in olden days, like when there were no autosave, this will, I think back in the days when we were using Word itself didn't have autosave, I think. And we would be working 1 hour, 2 hour on a document, and then it wouldn't be saved because we forgot to save, or because the laptop charge went off or the power went off. We would lose our 2 hours of work. That is bad, user control, because if it auto saves in between, then I don't have to think about saving it while before closing. Then the fourth one is about consistency in standards. I don't know if you know what a hamburger menu is. So on a menu, you have those 3 lines, right? For any menu on any of your apps. It is used throughout all the applications for menu button. Any application, any place, any location, any language, you still use this hamburger menu to show menu. This is consistency. And maybe to quote a bad example, some apps use the star icon for favoriting, right? But we are more used to the heart icon for favorites. The star you would more usually associate to rating, like, how much you liked something. Now going to the fifth one, it is about error prevention. Although it is like, I said we make mistakes, right? But it's always better to prevent error. Like I told you, the example of autosaves, right? It prevents the error that I will forget to save. Sometimes you are in a form and you're filling the data and you try to submit it. And once you submit it, because of some issue, because you probably didn't fill something correctly, what will do is wipe out the entire form. And then you will have to go back and then fill the entire thing again, right? Instead, if it just said you have to fill this mandatory before going to the next step, then it prevents that error, no? It avoids the pain of filling it again. Am I boring you guys here? Is it good? I can't see the chats, I think.
No, Jeena, it's going well. Yeah. If
Yeah,
there is
okay.
any questions, I'll read it out for you.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
we have one question. I guess we can take it up in the last. It's
Uh-huh.
about career related question it is.
Okay. We'll
Yeah,
take that in the
sure,
end.
sure,
Yeah.
sure. Okay.
The sixth heuristic is about recognition rather than recall. So, like earlier you said, no, you will love using Netflix because it is using these principles. That's why you are ending up liking these products as you use them. So Netflix shows the thumbnails of all the shows that you've watched. Then it allows you to give a thumbs up by telling, hey, I like this product, recommend me more of these kind of these kind of movies or shows. And a bad example would be in command line where you have to remember the syntax. These days, I think even in coding, I'm not too sure, correct me if I'm wrong, even in coding, the UIs allow you to, once you start typing, it'll start suggesting how to complete that syntax or what are the possible actions you could take ahead, right? So that is more about recognizing rather than remembering from your memory. Now to the seventh one, flexibility and efficiency of use. So basically, it's about like if a user is an expert user, they would probably use keyboard shortcuts to go through their daily life, right? Like for example, in Word, Word or in any other application, you use Control C and Control V to copy and paste. But imagine if the only way to copy and paste was Control C and Control V. Now, a new user would have no idea how to copy and paste. That is why all these products have copy and paste clear icons on the top, as well as these hidden shortcuts for expert users. So it gives that flexibility, based on how much you're used to a certain product. The eighth one is aesthetic and minimalist design. Even though I was talking about a lot about usability and how functionality matters, it also is important that it is visually pleasing. Now think about your Google search, right? The screen is very clean. All you have is a search bar. It'll also have a button. It'll have the Google logo. That's it. It's a very clean and minimal design there. Compare it with any of your government websites where there will be notices on one side, there will be a lot of menu items on one, the actions will be hidden elsewhere. So the more irrelevant data that you fill into your homepage, the important actions are getting lesser visibility, right? Coming to the ninth one, it's about helping users recognize, diagnose, and recover from errors. So basically, again, like the example, right? Imagine you are trying to set up a password for a website. And as you're typing in, it's throwing the error message. It should have 8+ characters. Then you're going back, typing in 8+ characters. And then it's again throwing a message telling it should have also had a capital letter. So now you're including a capital letter and you're again creating a new password. Now it's throwing a new error message telling you can't use special characters. Imagine how irritating this experience is. Instead, if it's upfront told to you, it should have 8+ characters, it should have a capital letter, it shouldn't use any, then you know how to create a new password. The 10th one is about help and documentation. Although we said it is better to design so that errors don't happen, it is always best to have help and documentation easily accessible. Someone told about Amazon, when we were talking about apps you hate, right? And I agree. I also find a little bit difficult when I have to return a product, when I have to talk to customer support. It's hidden somewhere, but you have to travel a lot and explore a lot to find out where you can get support and help from. That is why it is irritating to use. When you are in trouble, you would need help right away and very visibly also. When we are talking about, feelings, like you're telling certain apps frustrate you or certain apps make you say, I love this product, we come into the topic of emotional design. And Don Norman, who I referenced earlier, who wrote the book, The Design of Everyday Things, he has defined 3 levels of emotional design. The first level is visceral. It says this product is beautiful. I love it first sight. The second one is behavioral. It is, oh, I can use this effortlessly. It is making my life easier. It's personalized. It feels like it can read my mind. Reflective is where I want to share stories about it, where you feel an emotional bond with this product, that you become a loyal customer of that product. Now, looking at few examples of this, at visceral level, we can probably look at the iPhone. It gives you a sense of luxury. It looks good. You will feel like taking it and holding it in your hands, right? An emotional response like that is coming from how it looks initially, and it gives you happiness. Now, again, Spotify was something that somebody had mentioned in a product that they love. Why do you love Spotify? It does its job really well. It allows you to create playlists. You can search music easily, you can find genres, you also get great suggestions based on your taste. It has a lot of personalization and customization in there. Now, on a reflective level, I don't know if anyone has seen this campaign. It was the Who Will You Share a Coke With campaign for Coca-Cola. And it had a lot of personalization on it, because the Coke's the can, it came with your name written on it, and it may creates these kind of advertisements, create a bond with the customer, right? You feel like, oh, it's mine, and you feel like doing it with someone. You feel like, okay, I'll do it. I'll share a Coke with my friend. And it also asks you to share your love for that product with your friend or your family or your circle. So a good design like that, like I said, like it's a combination of these visceral, behavioral, and reflective designs. At the center of it, you get delight, right? And that's why we say a good design always make you happy. It's not enough to cultivate experiences that are just love at first sight. It is also important that this love is perpetual, that it stays on, and it's also shareable, that you feel like telling other people about it. This product is amazing. I want you also to download this app. It's great, right? That's what a good design will do to a product. Yep. Any questions here?
Yeah, so Miss Jeena, like Amrita has raised her hand. Amrita, you can unmute yourself and ask if you have any questions, right? Amrita, am I audible to you? No worries, you can post it in the chat box later there.
Yep. I'm hoping this was not a lot for you right now. If it is a lot right now for you, just note down the keywords, and then maybe you can always search about it and learn more about these keywords. My idea was to give you as many keywords as possible to get started into this world, right? Now, I also want to look at the design process. How do you design? So basically, this is a tool that we use. It's called the double diamond, because you can see 2 diamonds over there. And the double diamond is divided into 4 phases. It's the discover, define, develop, and deliver phases. So initially, when you're starting a project, when you're thinking about design, you only have a problem area in front of you. You don't know what the problem is. You don't know what you're supposed to solve. So what do? You start wide. You start diverging. It's called divergent thinking, where you explore, research, talk to users, understand their pain points, right? So sometimes what happens is the user themselves don't know what they need. They'll probably come to you with a want. They'll tell you this app is really slow. But what you probably need to understand is, why is it slow? Is it because, is it things they want, their actions they want to do, they take a long time to find those actions? Is that why it's slow? Or is it just because, their connection is slow? Or what is the reason behind these things? Once you've discovered the problem, then you start defining it. You narrow down, you do your convergent thinking. You will be like, okay, I want to identify the core problem. And instead of saying, let's fix everything, you will start specifying what you want to fix. You will be like, user struggles to find their saved data within 10 seconds. This is a problem. And maybe you will need to do this iteratively. Once you have some more insights, you will need to, do divergent thinking on those specific topics. Then you will again do convergent thinking to come at more focused insights. And at the end of this process, you will come up with a design brief. And once you have that design brief, you will start divergent thinking again, where you will go into the develop phase. You will brainstorm, you will sketch, you will prototype, you will ideate as many solutions as possible. And then again you go into convergent thinking, where you think about delivering it. You'll test this multiple ideas with users. You'll think about the pros and cons of each. And then you will have your reviews from your customers. You'll again go back to your sketchboard, start ideating. You'll come back to prototype, and then finally you will have your solution. Now I just want to give you a glimpse of what a design brief should consist of, right? It should have a context, as in for whom are we designing, what is the purpose? It should have a need. What are the functional requirements? Are there any constraints? It should have a goal, as in what are the instructions and criteria for the solution. So basically, it'll have a design task statement. Design this, it will say, right? And initially, as you are, like I told you, right, it's an iterative process. Initially, you can think about it in a more of a problem-focused mindset. And as you go later on, you can think solution-focused. Because what happens is, if you go into a solution-focused mindset in the beginning itself, you will just think in only you will think unidirectionally. You'll be stuck on that initial solution that you had in your mind. So think problem-focused first, and then solution-focused. Now, just to explain a design brief, let's do this with the help of an example. Think of a digital payment, think of this design brief. Digital payment adoption is growing fast in India, but many students are struggling with the existing app due to cluttered interfaces, poor error handling, and confusing onboarding flows. Students want a quick, reliable, and simple way to pay for food, travel, and college expenses. Design a simplified and intuitive mobile wallet app tailored for college students, focusing on speed, trust, and ease of use. Now, the first sentence is the context. Who are we doing this for? Who are we doing this for? We're doing this for college students, right? Why? Because so and so digital adoption is growing, but students are still struggling. Now, the second sentence is the need. What do the students want? They want a quick, reliable, and simple solution for food, travel, and college expenses. We are very specific and focused at this point. Now, for the third one, we are setting the goal or the design task. What should we design? We should design a simplified and intuitive mobile wallet app tailored for college students. So your persona or your user group is college student, focusing on speed, trust, and ease of use. There you will have your business outcome also. What should it increase? It should increase speed of payment. It should also have trust, where users feel like they can, they trust this application. And it should be easy to use. Right. Any questions here? Okay, I'm assuming no questions. Now again, like this whole, whatever I explained till now, I was explaining to you to introduce you to this world. And in case, like I told you, right, if anyone wants to pursue design education in future, you will know what you're getting into. You have your design 101 class already. But if you, as an engineer, if you want to know how you contribute, So you know that the product is always a collaboration of the product team, the engineering team, and the UX team, right? That's how a good product development happens. And engineers could contribute by building these usable interfaces. They should support prototypes. So sometimes when we are building these user flows, because we don't know so much about the best way to build something, we would need to ask them, do you think this is feasible? Do you think this can be achieved? How much time does it take to, build something? So then they'll create smaller proof of concepts to understand if a certain solution is implementable. And then they'll, we will design it accordingly. So it's always a lot of back and forth between engineers and designers. A designer can tell you what should we build, but sorry, a designer can tell you what should we build, but an engineer will be the one who will be telling how we should build it best. Now, in a software development life cycle, engineers should ask, what is the user flow? Don't ask what is the API, because your designer might not know the answer to what is the best API to use there. Instead, ask what is the flow? How should the experience navigate? And for design handoff, be a little aware about the tools, Figma, Zeppelin, or any other tools out there. You need to know how the interaction happens. So you need to ask for prototypes, not just pixels, not just screens. You need to know how users are going to interact with each screen. On this button click, what happens? What is the feedback? All those things also you need to know. And also for testing, you should ask if the user can complete the task successfully. We shouldn't just build and put it out there in the market. Instead, we should make usable products. Yeah, now I wanted to do a little bit of a hands-on. I know this is a large group. I don't know how many of us are there in the call right now. Around 200 when we started the call, right?
Yeah, we have around 280 scholars here.
That's a lot of people. So I can't right now divide you into groups and make you do this activity. So maybe take 5 minutes, quickly grab a piece of paper and a pen. That's all you will need. And let's do this for the next 15 minutes. Maybe give you a thumbs up when you all have a pen and paper in your hand.
Yeah, a few of them are raising their hands.
Okay, I'm hoping everybody has a pen and paper with you. We'll do something called the wallet exercise. This is something we do in design thinking. So what we need to do is usually how we do it is we'll split people into pairs, and one person will interview the other and talk to them about their needs. Because we can't do it right now in the current setting, think of a friend or a family member, and what you will be doing is you'll be designing a wallet or a bag for them. Okay, so choose someone you really know. You have to define that persona there. It could be a parent, a sibling, or a friend. Write down the name, age, and one sentence about their lifestyle. I've also shown an example here. For example, my mom, 55, always carries cash, cards, and shopping lists, right? What you are doing here is you are quickly defining a persona. Like I said, for whom are we designing? We are defining that whom. Then once you've written that, should we take 5 minutes for all of you to write that? Yeah, I'll stop here and maybe first do the step 2. Choose someone you know really well. Write down the name, age, and one sentence about their lifestyle. And when you write about their lifestyle, don't go very broad, because we are thinking about designing a wallet or bag, right? So keep that in mind. Lifestyle in the context of using a bag or a wallet. Yep. Can you again raise your hands once you've done that?
Yes, we are getting few responses in the chat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, now that you have your persona ready, maybe think about how they are using their wallet currently. Think about pain points or habits, like too many receipts. Always, whenever they open the wallet, coins are falling out of it. or they love to have a lot of gadgets like their phone, your phone, power bank, and everything, right? Or this person is into fashion and they want something really stylish. So start thinking about what they would want, what they are struggling with currently with their current wallet or bag. Yeah, under your persona, maybe given you heading pain points or pain points / needs, and write this, what do you think they need, or what do you think they are struggling with currently? Think you have a few points, everyone? Yeah. Yeah, I also see a few hands raised. Okay, now flip your paper over and start sketching. Or if you're not good with sketching, don't fret, don't worry. Just write in steps of how you can solve their problem. Okay, like I told you, right? Coins fall out. So maybe we should add a new pocket for coin, only for coins. This person wants a waterproof because they are on the go and they want it lightweight. Somebody wants to, girls these days always complain about not having good pockets on their jeans, right? So it should be something compact. So what is it we could do to solve their problem? If you're good with sketching, go ahead, scribble, don't spend too much time on it. Uh, just take 5 minutes for the rest of the activity, right? Keep it simple. If you're not good with sketching, just write step by step. This is how it will be. These are the features I would want, etc., etc. And once you are done, maybe you could, uh, unmute yourself, get your camera on so that I can see what you've done. And if you're not comfortable with your camera on, that's totally fine. Just unmute and start speaking. But if you want to show me something I've sketched, turn on your camera and show me what you've sketched. As we'll do like 5 or 10 people based on how much time we have.
Rahul, you can unmute and go ahead.
Hello. Anyone?
Yes, Priya, you can go ahead.
Yeah, am I audible, ma'am?
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yes,
Yeah, I designed a bag. Means so actually I can't turn on the camera because there is no option. I will explain it then. Yeah, so I drew one for my mom. So basically, as means what you said means it was a bit relevant to her also
Okay.
that she carries cash a lot. Means there are no cards though, but she does all her transaction through phone. And many times she faced the issue of having her phone in the wallet means because the women purses are not that good to have the phone in.
Yeah.
So I designed a one which is of her phone's shape
Mm,
with one zipper in, so she can easily have her phone out and have it back then. Then
mm,
in that one sleeve, particularly for the phone, and the rest of the sleeves for cash, and one a small pouch for coins
mm.
included inside it. And since many times we have the problem that the purse gets dirty or something like that, so
Yeah.
to wash it means the entire material of something which means we have some fabric, right, which
Yeah.
doesn't get the stain, means so
Mm,
stainless, that water resistant fabric,
mm. Yeah.
and that way I design.
Great, great. I think you've picked up a lot on what we have discussed so far, right? Like how you said, in the shape of a phone, right? These days, phones come up in different sizes. So it should accommodate whichever device she is having. That was a great thought that you had in the beginning. And then you talked about the coin pouches and you thought another slot for cash because she wants to carry a lot of cash. Now, sometimes people have a lot of confusion, right? Oh, I have a lot of 500 rupee notes, 100 rupee notes, 10 rupee notes. So maybe you can, separate out slots for different, notes and so and so. So already I see that you're thinking about pain points and how to solve it for the user. This is your empathy coming out, right? You're putting yourself in the shoe of the user. Anyone
Yes,
else? Thank you, Ria, for that great example. Anyone else?
Rahul, if you want to speak, you can unmute and speak now. Or scholars, you can even post it in the chat box.
Can they post images in the chat? Can they do that? No.
Mostly it is chat. There is a facility to upload as well.
If you want to like click a picture, if you were scared to talk, just click a picture and put it in the chat. Let me see if I can see the chat. Yep.
I'm not very sure, Jeena, if they can actually click the picture and
Hi,
share
Jeena.
it.
So
Yeah.
that's the
I
chat.
don't think the
And-
student will be able to upload the pictures in the webinar setting.
okay.
But if you want, we can share these pictures. We can collect these pictures and then send it to you for your reference.
Yeah. And this is fine. I mean, I just wanted to know, I just wanted
Correct.
a little bit of response from the
Yeah.
here. Yeah.
So we never had any picture uploading webinar, but this is a very interesting exercise. I must say that I'm sure that all the students are enjoying it thoroughly. Like even I am enjoying the session.
Same here.
Thank you.
Jeena.
Thank you so much, Jenna, for such insightful session.
Thanks, Pavni.
Yeah, I'm hoping that, somebody has written, sometimes you don't have battery in your phone and you'll be searching for something, and I'll use radium. Oh, okay. So your wallet has an included power bank, is it? That's interesting. That's a great idea. I would also love to use that, Ashish. Okay, I think, more of your answers, you can do this with your friends also, this activity, right? You can just talk to them and see. Now, like, I just wanted to explain something, what we are trying to do it. When you're thinking about buying a shoe, right, you would look for shoes that look really cool, but then you would also want to wear them and see if this works for you. Now, it also depends on who you are. Are you an athlete? Do you run a lot? Now, you need a running shoe. Are you into just walking and you go to college and you want something which is like good for that? You might go for something like a canvas shoe, right? Or if you are, let's say, into yoga and you would want something lighter and with a thinner padding. So based on who your persona is, all of you are coming up with different ideas right now. There will be someone has written the example of father who carries a lot of stuff, but he's having trouble organizing them. So it will be a slim leather wallet with dedicated slot for bills, zipped coin for pocket so that he doesn't lose the change, and a card holder for ATM and metro cards. Great. See, I gave you one brief, but all of you came up with different designs. That is why user-centered design is so important, that based on who you are designing for, your end product will change, even if your brief was the same, right? I will stop here because I think we have like 7 minutes till the end of the call, and we'll do a Q&A session here. Like I heard that earlier there was a career-related question or any such question about any of the topics we discussed so far also. Please feel free to ask.
So, Jeena, I'll take up few career-related questions we have received so far. Yeah.
Mhm.
Do you want break for a few minutes? Or
No,
can
I'm fine.
fine,
Go
all
ahead.
right, okay. So we have a question from Kirti. Where and how should we learn UI or UX design for freelancing or as a career?
Mhm. So there are multiple options if you want to do UX design. You can do a self-learning approach where you can get on any of these platforms like Coursera, Udemy, Pluralsight, right? They offer courses, shorter courses, 6 months or 3 months, based on how much time you want to spend on learning the basics. There are also boot camps by Google, which also you can take up to learn the initial stage. Now, if you are a little bit more, invested in it and you want to take it up as a master's course, you can do something like I did. I did a master's in information design. India has these amazing colleges. So NID, I would recommend as the finest institute for this. They have their exams. You will need to pass the exams and racking, and only top 13 or 14 or to around 20 students will be taken for each batch. And it's not only for information design. There are courses for interaction design. You can get onto the NID website and you can see how many courses are there. There are product design, design for retail experience, game design. So there are a lot of branches which you can take up. IIT also offers design courses. There are other colleges which are more private institutes like Srishti or MIT also who offers design courses. These will be two, if you're thinking of a master's, it will be like 2.5 year courses. Does that answer?
I hope that answers her question. We'll take up another question from Vasavi. I wanted to know if UX focused roles require coding skills, or can someone succeed in UX without programming knowledge?
So I myself come from an engineering background. I did my engineering in computer science and then came to, design. But it's not necessary. Like in any combination, right? Things can help you. So if you know a little bit of coding, maybe your conversations with and your collaboration with engineers might become a little easier, and you might have a little bit of an insight about how to implement your designs also. But a lot of designers have no coding background, and like I told you, right, you don't need a specific skill like drawing skill or coding skill to be a good designer. You need to have the ability to imagine and visualize and to empathize with your user. That is what is most important. So as long as you're able to do that, it doesn't matter the background that you're coming from. But yeah, like if you already have, good for you, you can maybe work that into your advantage. There are people who do architecture first and then come into design. There are even people who have been in arts colleges and who've done excellent designs, right? Doesn't matter, I think.
So as we hope that answers your question as well. So we have a question from Vinodini. How do you think AI will change opportunities for UI or UX designers?
Great question. I was waiting for an AI related question because this is very current right now, right? A lot
It's
of people,
current trend.
it's everywhere, and every company out there is trying to put out AI solutions so that they are on the top of the market. So this fear is there. What if AI can, make screens for you? Which is why I did this whole exercise of telling you that it's not about screens. It's not about how it looks. To flush out, AI can only create whatever is existing, right? There are a lot of information out there. It can maybe make a good login screen because there are hundreds of login screens already, thousands of login screens. But when you're faced with a new problem and a new challenge, and when you need innovation, you still need the ability to think out of the box. So AI will help you. And what they say is that designers will not go out of their job, but the designer who doesn't know how to use AI to their advantage might go out of their job. So there is always people who are good in their job and people who are not so great, right? And as technology upgrades, you need to upgrade with it. So a lot of tools now to help with UI making. It will help you with research. It'll lessen your workload now. You will be able to synthesize faster. You'll have a lot of data and you'll need to, converge and start focused thinking, right? There are AI tools that help you to do that. But if you don't upgrade yourself with the current tech, you might become a slower designer, which would mean there will some another designer can replace you easily. So yeah, this we'll also see how, like, things are a little unclear right now. We'll see how future unfolds, but I don't think design as a career is going to go away. designers who don't upgrade themselves might.
So we have a question related to the learning platform required for this.
Okay.
So,
Platform as in?
so I guess this, so Venkatesh needs some recommendation as for if you have any learning platforms to learn UX design.
Like I told you, right, there are a lot of courses available on these learning platforms, Udemy and Coursera and Pluralsight and whatnot. There are a lot of blogs written on the concepts. You can just Google all these things. Like I told you, I have given you a bunch of keywords, and you can also read books that I recommended. Don't Make Me Think, Design of Everyday Things. These are starters into the topic of design. Then there are books also on system design and service design. These are also topics that you could like Google and learn about. But yeah, and then boot camps, 3-month boot camps, 6 months boot camps, and things that they're out there on the internet. You can just search them and find them. If you need to go to a like academic way, then probably write these competitive exams, get into a college. But yeah, based on how much time you have, how much money you want to invest in something, you will find varied options.
And we have one question that is, in this present world, is it a good option to choose a designer career?
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so. Yeah, like I
That's
told
very.
you, I think I answered that question when I was talking to you about the AI topic. It is good. It is good because I don't think this career is going to go away, but probably the number of designers a company might hire might reduce. So you need to be a good one out there.
Ma'am, how do you use any AI tools in your design process? If yes, which ones do you find most helpful?
Yeah, so Figma is a tool that we use to create mockups right now, and all of these design tools are now coming up with a lot of, AI features also. So Figma also has its own AI feature. It's called Figma Make, and it's new, so it's not very solid as of now, but it's good, and I'm sure it'll improve in the future. So that is something that I use now. Another problem right now is that there is this topic of data privacy, right? When I'm in work, I cannot use a lot of these AI tools because it has to. We are in an enterprise company. Data, we can't just put there out everything. We can't put it out on the internet. So customer data has to be dealt with very carefully, and we can't use unless we have an SAP license of these AI tools. Which is also why I told you, right? For a long time, this job is not going to go away because a lot of company are worried about privacy and putting their information out there and putting their designs out there. So there is that restriction regarding that. But also, yeah, ChatGPT is something that I extensively use. And then there is a lot of tools now for storyboarding. To create a storyboarding is a topic that you will do when you are, building the user flows. You will try to map out the journey of a user and everything. So for quickly generating images, you might use something, yeah, like that.
Jeena, if you're okay, we can take up 2 more questions.
Yeah.
Fine. All right. Okay. So we have a question that, hello, ma'am, I'm currently pursuing my BTech in industrial design. I'm very passionate about designing and would like to build my career in this field. Could you please guide me on how to explore good opportunities and secure a suitable job role as a fresher, since it seems challenging to find design related positions?
Okay. So you are in industrial design, BTech in industrial design,
Yeah.
and passionate about building a career in this field. So, right, however you learn about design, as you learn, try to build a strong portfolio for yourself, right? Let's say you want to be a UX designer, create a UX focused portfolio. If you're an industrial designer, create product focused, like industrial design focused portfolio. Have one hero project, at least one elaborate project where you have done extensive research. You're showing your process. See, people who are hiring do not want to see the output. I mean, output is important, but they also want to see how you think. Like I told you, right? Screen making and all can be offloaded to AI in the future, but how you think may not be offloaded. So they want to see your process. So extensively show that in 1 or 2 of your hero projects, have 3 or 4 good projects in your portfolio. And that could be a way to get started before you start approaching companies. What was I saying? Yeah, now with AI tools, right? I'm not saying don't use AI because it's out there. You have to show what you can do with AI, but it shouldn't be just AI. Like, it should also show what more you can do. The quality of portfolios have improved because they have AI to help them synthesize and do faster and larger amount of work. So make it to good use, put it to good use, and make sure that you also show what you can do other than AI, what your brain is doing, right? Make sure that you showcase that also. But I hope I answered that question as well.
We have one tricky question, that is, what is the context behind a designer dream is a developer nightmare? So if you have any take on it, our engineering scholars would like to know, I guess.
Oh, so sorry, can you say that again? I didn't
Yeah.
quite.
A designer dream is a developer nightmare. So what is the context behind it?
Okay. A designer's dream is a developer's nightmare. So I think there are these clashes also out there, like, people dream these elaborate UIs, and then developers have, they have time constraints. You are on a sprint kind of a thing. You need to deliver certain things at certain time. So you need to understand their perspective also a little bit, which is why I said it is a lot of collaboration, where you design something and you take it up to them and you ask them, is it feasible? Do you think we can deliver this design in this time? And also this concept of flashy design. Design doesn't have to be extremely flashy. On if you are on Behance, so there are some tools like Behance or on Dribble for some inspirations on design, right? But if you get on them, you see a lot of amazing interactions, a lot of flashy UIs. They are good to look at, but like I told you, right, the simplest design might be actually the best design. I think it was Data Rams who said good design is invisible. uh, so it's not necessarily a developer's nightmare. You need to be open to explore. You need to be open to try out new things, spend a little time on creating proof of concepts and see if this works. But also as designers, you also need to think, what is the simplest and the smallest nudge I can give to create the biggest impact? Have you heard of this concept called butterfly effect? So it's basically the smallest flutter of a butterfly's wing can trickle down and create big impacts. You might think about adding a small button somewhere, and some user somewhere, it might change their life, right? Uh, it's not because of the button, but it's because of the thought behind that, why you're putting it there. Yeah, so it need not necessarily be a developer's nightmare. As long as the user is happy, I think both developer and designer should strive for the user's happiness and for their comfort.
Thank you, Ms. Jeena. Gives, I guess it has given a lot of clarity to our scholars as well. Yeah. So with this, we conclude the technical sessions from SAP. And looking ahead, we are excited to bring you career focus sessions in collaboration with SAP. And a very heartfelt thank you to Ms. Jeena Philip for sharing your expertise and giving us fresh insights into UX design. We also appreciate you joining early to check the technicalities and for making the session so simple, interactive, and engaging. I'm sure our scholars have really engaged in it and enjoyed it as well. And our gratitude also goes to SAP, FFE staffs, and all participants for making the session really meaningful. Wishing you all a wonderful evening ahead. Thank you so much for your time.